Hey guys, John here. How you doing? So I just got finished watching the season 2 premiere of High School, the musical, the series. The episode is titled New Year's Eve, and I wanted to give some quick thoughts on it in a vlog format. What else? Okay, so after the recap, going over after everything that happened last season, all the important stuff anyway. The episode starts off with a sort of quasi-musical number. This show isn't, literally a musical, so it doesn't have an actual musical number per se, but it's the whole cast of the show performing within the world of the show the song Something in the Air Tonight, I believe is the name, something like that. Which is a good song, and they actually film it to, in the world of the show, they said that they're filming it all in one take. I don't know if they actually filmed this all in one take, or if they just made it look like one take. I actually watched it over twice, and it seemed to be all in one take, but I could see a couple parts where they could have snuck in a couple nice little cuts. But it's definitely an ambitious thing, for a show like this. I mean, with a show that's like a high school musical show, you don't necessarily expect something kind of ambitious like that, so it's cool to see. Yeah, it definitely is well shot, well choreographed, the music and dancing, a lot of work put into it, so I can appreciate that. The show is a mockumentary, so early in the episode, we get the talking heads thing. Well, not in the same sense where they're usually like sitting down to be interviewed, but you see the characters sitting down talking to the camera on the whole talking heads format, like you see on shows like The Office or Modern Family or Liv and Maddie, for a more relevant example. But yeah, they kind of, they're still kind of giving us some of the updates of what's going on. You got Nini, who's going to Denver, Colorado, to an acting school. She gets accepted into it, and she's trying to figure out get the heart to tell Ricky and her friends. So far, the only one who knows is her one friend, whose name is escaping me right now. You got Nini and Ricky are back together. Of course, they kissed in the last episode, and there's a lot of different stuff going on. Everyone's going through some issues. You got Ricky finds out that I'm going to be kind of spoiling most of the episode, by the way. Ricky finds out that him and his dad are going to be moving to a smaller apartment. Now, they're not moving away like Nini, unbeknownst to whom, is. It's just to a smaller apartment, I assume in the same area, because I guess the dad can't afford it. But Ricky is definitely upset about this. This is taking place on, this is Christmas Eve when he finds this out. By the way, I don't know if it's that they originally planned to air this episode around, like, the time of COVID. I'm sorry, around the time of Christmas and COVID got in the way, and that's why it takes place around Christmas and New Year's Eve, or if it's just kind of telling the story that they want to tell. I mean, it basically takes place at the start of a new semester at school, so it makes sense that it'll be around that time. It very well be just that they're telling the story that they want to tell when they want to tell it, regardless of their lines with the holidays, which is a kind of a cool new thing you can do with streaming services, especially one like Disney Plus where you air one episode a week. That's good. Oh yeah, but anyway, so Ricky finds that him and his dad are moving to the smaller apartment. But Ricky's sad about this. You can tell for a few reasons. I'm sure he has, as they kind of hint at, they basically say he has, they've been in the house for a while, and he has, a sentimental attachment to it. There are a lot of memories of when his parents were together, and the sadness over that. So that's an issue. But I think it's also another bigger issue is that he doesn't want all this change that's going on. So, I imagine that, of course, when he eventually finds out that, Nini's going to a new school, that's going to hit him pretty hard. In one scene, and the next scene, Nini comes over, he sings her a song that he wrote that he got for a gift. Which is a nice little song that he sings, it's pretty heartfelt. Both these actors here, Joshua Bassett and Olivia Rodrigo, both give good performances of the show. You can feel the genuineness of their emotions, and the fact that they were at one point a couple in real life, probably plays into that. But after the song, he says that she's the one thing in his life that he can always count on. After, everything with his parents splitting up and whatnot, he feels like there's, a lack of consistency in his life. Of course, the ironic thing, there's the dramatic irony, as they call it, where, we, the audience, know something, he doesn't know that, once again, she's going to be leaving. So that's going to be unfortunate. He also says, there's a nice line where he says, "You are my home" to her, which is beautiful but sad at the same time because of what's going on. There's actually, if I can criticize this episode for one thing, other than, you're getting a little cheesiness and sappiness with High School Musical product. But I think there's a few too many plots going on this episode. Another plot which is a necessary one, is that we see Miss Jen, the teacher, and Carlos going to a thrift shop to find clothes for the new play, which they plan to be, of course, High School Musical 2, but they're not saying that right away. They're not telling other people that. Then what happens is that Miss Jen runs into her ex-boyfriend from high school, Zach. Now, basically, the thing with him is that they, both did theater together. He went off to, act in Broadway, and now he's coming back to his old high school where both of them went, a competing high school of this show, of the one in this show, and they're going to be doing The Little Mermaid. And they're going to be trying to get in the win the Alan Menken Awards, which is a big thing. And at one point, he refers to High School Musical they're doing as adorable, which is, of course, condescending, and it gets them to want to rethink. Now, everybody assumes that they're going to be doing High School Musical 2, despite the fact that they don't officially announce it yet. But basically, throws you for a little bit for a loop because, and not for a loop so much because they actually read a while ago that they said that the play this year was going to be Beauty and the Beast, and I'm thinking why not High School Musical 2? But here there's a story-based reason for it, But there's a few things going on here. One plot that I thought was maybe a little unnecessary is you have Big Red and Ashlyn and them trying to become a couple, and that got to the point where, okay, there's a few too many stories going on. There's a little side thing where Gina is staying with Ashlyn because, her dad, had to move away for the job, so she gets to stay with her. That's a little thing, that's okay. I definitely enjoyed Gina's character in the sense that I like how they basically started off making her seem like she was going to be the, stereotypical mean girl, but then over time she becomes a nicer person, so that's good, and, she generally becomes friends with everybody. Yeah, I guess the big climactic scene is when they're kind of having a New Year's Eve party, one point early in the episode's Christmas, and they skip a couple weeks later to New Year's Eve, or actually just a week later. There's one interesting moment, actually, at the party that I want to point out that when Carlos uses the word gay to describe himself, which is, of course, what he is, obviously. But I don't know if they've ever actually used that word in the show before. If they have, not much, so it's cool to see. Obviously the show has representation with, the two gay characters, him and the other one whose name is escaping me right now, the one who plays Sharpay. And there's also another little story with them, a little conflict, with them and, giving gifts to each other. But High School Musical, the series, is basically a kid's show. And the only other kid show I'm aware of that used the word gay before is Andy Mack in one episode, of course. So it's cool to see another, show for kids using that word. It's good to kind of, that they have kind of the freedom to do that. It's going to be very clear that the character's obviously gay. At some point, the word's going to have to come up. But there's a lot of conflict going on in this climactic scene where Nini's trying to tell Ricky what's going on, and there's the stuff with Big Red and Ashlyn and all this stuff. And it kind of, it all ends up in this one big moment where Nini finally announces to Ricky and everyone that she's moving to Denver, and, ends on a bit of a cliffhanger with that. Yeah, so that's the plot. Yeah, gave away the whole thing. Pretty good episode. I liked it. Basically, like I said, with a show like this, it's like a High School Musical product, so I'm not necessarily expecting high art going into it. But I feel like the people involved in this really want to try and want to make it something that's a little more thoughtful, a little more, intelligent and effortful than the kind of stuff you usually see on a Disney Channel or what you might expect a High School Musical product. And I think they definitely do a good job with that. And there is a certain, I do like the show in the sense that I think the actors are good, the characters do feel like real people, and I do find myself getting emotionally invested in it. And always interested to see, what's going to happen to these characters next, and their little, silly teen relationships or whatever that might not mean much to them, but at the time watching it, I feel a connection to it, so I think it has, a certain relatability and just, like I said, genuine. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching future episodes. Part of me had this thought of wanting to talk about every episode as it airs this season, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know if that's something people want to see, but I don't know. Leave a comment telling me if you're interested in that. I might give it a shot next week. But I guess that's all I want to say. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day, and I'll get some more reviews out in the future. Bye.